All right, so here we go. I'm going to show you the roof encounter using a Sampire, pretty stock Sampire, and a Bard Buddy. So in this particular case, it's a second account that I have. That's a second computer logged in. That's all keyed up, and it's a 4X Bard running the Peace Mastery, or the Peacemaking Mastery. So that Perseverance provides 30% damage reduction, which is pretty important. I won't go really into too many details about the gear, but usually what I do when I'm doing the roof on just the Sampire and a Bard is I'll kind of leave and come back in until Virtue Bane shows up first. The reason why is that as a Sampire with the right gear, Virtue Bane's really the only boss that's going to give you a hard time. And it is kind of hit or miss. It is random sometimes. The dice just are not in your favor. So it's by no means a slam dunk, but you can do it with just a Sampire and a Bard. For this particular boss, I'm going to use a Demon Slayer, double axe, with Mana Leech, Stamina Leech, Hit Lightning, and Swing Speed increase, and it's 100% fire damage. So it's kind of nice to have that. Normally I would use the Conjurer's Trinket for my gear, but one of the things with Virtue Bane is you don't really want any. You gotta basically have all the advantages you can get. So you don't want an Undead Slayer or Undead weapon of any sort on, because he spawns repawned mobs. Alright, so real quick, what you gotta do every time for every boss, if you're a Sampire and the roof, you kind of have to wait for them to fall off the roof, and in Virtue Bane's case, it takes a while for him to heal back up to 100. So notice he's 100 right now, but when he drops down, he'll take damage from the fall, and now he's 96. So you have to wait kind of off screen here a little bit until he heals up, so you can get the honor in. The tactic is really just to lead him up to where the Bard's hanging out at and stay within the Bard's buff range. You'll see throughout the fight, I'll occasionally will throw in some heals. Alright, so here he is. This guy is a bitch. Alright. So he likes to dismount a lot. So a lot of times I'll stay off my mount until he does his Ash move. And then I've got a macro that mounts my Swampy just to keep him safe. Pretty typical. One thing I'm doing here is I'm clicking on him in combat mode to keep him from targeting the Bard, because I don't want the Bard targeted at all. All seems well and good until he throws out his Ash Explosion. So what I'm going to try to do is when I see him do it, I'm going to mount my Swampy and move him just a little away from the Bard so he doesn't disrupt the Bard. Pretty lucky so far. Again, the key is to kind of just keep. Oh, even then, see how I kept him off the bard. Like clicking on him repeatedly. It's annoying, but most of the Paragon AIs do the same thing. If you just keep attacking them, they will retarget back to you. Swings just don't match. Okay, here we go. Notice I'm still not on my Swampy. Again, that's just a... So as soon as if I see him Ash again, I have a macro that mounts him. Okay, that was an extremely lucky encounter. So normally we get a lot more Ash problems, but there we go. All right, so I'm going to finish on the rest of the roof. So the next one is Ozzy. For Ozzy, I use basically same tactic. I'll bring him up to the Bard, except he's pretty easy. The Bard's going to discord him. And I use hit lower defense weapons. So notice that my axe has 50% hit lightning, 50% hit lower defense, plus swing speed increase, and of course the leeches. And 100% fire damage. So these axes, all these weapons have been made using the whetstone. So you can remove the damage increase and get that extra property. I switched back to using my Conjurer's Trinket, and pretty typical hit lower defense setup. So nothing special. I'm going to do the same thing. Go down and find him. Wait for him to drop off. He's 100%, good. So he can dismount you, which is annoying, but it's usually pretty harmless. Dismount. Now, he can be kind of a bitch until he's discorded. So kind of what I do is I on my second account, I just, make sure everything's okay, and then I set up a little key to continuously try to discord the current target. It's a little it's discorded because playing 2 accounts at the same time is not fun. But it is doable, as you can see. Momentum strike. Alright, let me go back and try to discord. Alright, he's discorded now. Now, it's basically just same thing. Just a grind. Now you can also enemy of 1 and do a little more damage. I don't have anatomy on this character, so I'm not really doing the most damage, but with honor and onslaught, swords mastery, the damage can stack up pretty good, especially with the hit lightning. Get some pretty good stacks in there from hit lightning. So I'm just chaining double strikes, occasionally using onslaught, and then whirlwind when he spawns. Might help to hit. Just threw in a provoke for kicks. And that's like, you see I mounted my Swampy and I stayed in combat mode. Single button click. So that macro, I'll show you guys later on another video. That macro is super helpful. Especially for these dismounted bosses. Missing a lot here. I think fire is his weakest. It does change, it's not always the same, but so I won't even bother consecrating, I'll just see if that works. Yeah, I'm not doing much damage. Pretty straightforward. I'm chasing that guy. I want to keep within the bard zone. You notice he's not really hitting me anyway. Try to get him back in here. Let me go get this guy. Up. Sometimes I'll switch to a Dragon Slayer because the lessers are kind of annoying. But, wouldn't bother. Because I'm telling you, once you get Virtue Bane down, the rest of it's pretty cake as long as you have the right gear. I lucked out with Virtue Bane initially, and I'm kind of getting some bad rolls on this one, but he's going down. Alright, so Anon. Okay, so the trick with Anon is pretty easy. What you gotta do is you use, with Sampire anyway, you're gonna want to use a 100% chaos damage weapon. So notice this is very similar to the rest of my axes. This has no Slayer, 100% chaos damage, hit lightning, hit mana leech, stamina leech, and then I add fire area just because. So with this, it kind of keeps him changing, and you don't consecrate. So you'll see he can be discorded too, so it makes it a little easier. Do the same technique. Wait for him to drop. Try not to let him target you. Oops, he did. Oh, good. Alright. And he's kind of a little bitch too, like he won't blindly follow you up here into his death. So you kind of have to play games a little bit. You can move to him too, but this is easy. Yeah, it takes me a little bit to get started. Sometimes these mages can be really nasty, so you always want to get these guys out of the way. And I'm trying to discord him on my other computer here. There we go. Alright, so now he's discorded. I do a lot more damage. Now with this guy, I will go enemy 1. Just because his mobs are pretty easy to deal with. And you just sit here and double strike him. No consecrate. No onslaught. You just chain double strike. Now notice he's switched, but I keep attacking. And occasionally you will nail him, but I'll do the same thing with this guy as all the bosses. I just occasionally will double click him just to keep him off from targeting the bard. Sometimes I onslaught or consecrate just out of muscle habit. Yeah, he heals a little bit just because of the randomness of the chaos weapon, but in the end, he goes down. If you actually have another player as opposed to just a second account, somebody's doing a bard, then the bard can, provoke, cast spells, RCs. Generally, you don't want to get targeted though, so you want to watch out. Not too much direct damage. It's hard to keep the mage, keep any of the bosses off of the bard. For some reason, they like to target them. So you can do provoke, some healing, but generally you just want to stay in your area with your buff. Not the most efficient fight that I've ever done, but so far so good. Sometimes when I'm fighting these kind of long battles, I'll keep the mobs. I won't kill them immediately. I'll use them to leech when I run out. Some pretty good stacks from the lightning. I can't emphasize enough how good hit lightning is on weapons on the roof encounters. Pretty much all the rooms and all the bosses, hit lightning makes a difference. Throw occasional spell so my other character doesn't idle out. Get back here. Come on. Alright. Alright, so this last one is the Lich. And it's going to go really fast. So, I usually don't like to end on this one because it goes a little too quick. But basically, this is real simple. On a Sampire, you just undead weapon. So I've got an undead axe, very similar to the rest. Hit lightning, hit mana leech, fire damage. And then I got Conjurer's Trinket. So I've got a kind of a double damage thing, and you'll see. But I'm going to want to switch to my luck suit kind of right before it dies. And I'm going to do the same thing on my Bard. So even though the Bard is not going to engage, he does get a drop chance. So you always want to make sure that all your characters have the highest luck they can before the boss dies, the last boss. Oops. I want to get the honor in. Oh no. I might not get the honor. Oh, there we go. Alright, so this is going to go pretty quick. Discorded, yeah, I see him. Now once he's discorded, I'm actually gonna switch to my luck suit on the Bard. It's gonna happen so fast. You just ignore those. You're doing so much damage that. I'm going to switch to luck right now. Now in my luck suit I'm still using a conch, so I notice I still am doing laser damage. Right. There we go. That's the roof. Using Sampire and Bard. Alright, hope that helps. Have fun, guys.